Stop what you're doing because today's IQD update is not the usual recycled chatter. For years, people said this day would never come. They said banks would never touch Iraqi dinar. They said you'd wait forever. But now, reports are coming in that sound very different. Not rumors, not screenshots, but accounts of real people walking into major bank branches, verifying their notes, and starting the exchange process. And if that's true, then this is the moment where being early doesn't mean being first, it means being prepared. Because the people who win in moments like this are not the loudest. The people who win are the most organized. Stay with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to break down what's being reported, what it could mean, and the exact steps IQD holders should take right now to protect themselves and avoid mistakes. Let's talk about what changed because that's the key. For a long time, the IQD story lived inside speculation. Maybe soon, intel, waiting. But the new reports being circulated are describing something more specific. Banks allegedly processing certain denominations, appointment scheduling, compliance checks, and funds being credited to accounts after verification. And whether this is the first wave or a controlled test, one thing is clear. When banks begin preparing seriously for foreign currency events, they don't move fast, but they do move methodically. And methodical movement is usually a sign that systems are being activated step by step. Now, I want to clarify something important. When people say banks are ready, that doesn't mean you can run to the bank tomorrow and instantly cash out. Readiness means systems have been upgraded, staff have been briefed, compliance teams are on alert, verification equipment is available, and procedures exist for non-standard exchanges. Banks don't operate on excitement. They operate on rules. And when large amounts of money are involved, the bank's job is to protect the system, even if it slows the process down. So readiness doesn't mean instant access. It means the door may be opening slowly and in controlled stages. Now, here's what's getting attention. Multiple circulating reports claim that select major bank branches in the United States, including branches associated with large institutions like Chase, may be processing Iraqi dinar exchanges under controlled conditions. And what's being repeated most often is that banks may be starting with large denominations, especially the 25,000 note, because it's easier to verify volume and manage the workflow. Now, I'm going to be very clear. I cannot personally verify every single story on the internet. But what I can tell you is this. When multiple independent reports describe the same pattern, appointment scheduling, in-branch verification, and compliance questions, that's usually the same structure banks use when they're testing a process before scaling it wider. And if that pattern continues, then we may be watching the early stage of a phased rollout. So, what does the process look like in real life? Here's the typical structure banks use during high-compliance foreign exchange events. Step 1. Appointment scheduling. Walk-ins are usually limited because banks need security and privacy. Step 2. Identity verification. Government ID and proof of address. This is standard. Step 3. Note authentication. They examine the notes for series, security features, and condition. Step 4. Compliance checks. They may ask basic questions related to AML and KYC standards. Step 5. Funds handling. Funds are usually credited to an account, and large deposits may come with holds or review periods. And this is why preparation is everything, because even one missing document or one questionable note can push your process into a delay. Now let's talk about rates, because this is where emotions explode. You will see people throwing around extreme numbers online. But here's the reality. Banks don't exchange based on hype. If exchanges are happening, rates would typically align with what's recognized in official systems at the time of transaction. Some people talk about special contract rates, and yes, in the world of finance, negotiated rates can exist in some situations. But until you hear it from your bank through official channels, treat everything as unconfirmed. The smartest move is to focus on what you control: your preparation, your documentation, and your safety. Here's what you should do right now if you're holding dinar, and this part is critical. 1. Inspect your notes tonight. Make sure they're clean, genuine, and not heavily damaged. 2. Organize your documents: valid government ID, proof of address, and if you have purchase records, keep them together. 3. Prepare a plan before you exchange. Don't wait until adrenaline hits. Decide: where will the funds go? Which bank will hold them? What debts will you clear? How much will you save? 4. Line up professional support. Tax and wealth planning matter immediately after a large exchange. This is how you protect your future, because the exchange itself may be the easy part. How you manage what comes after is what determines whether this becomes a breakthrough or a disaster. Now listen, this is where people get robbed. Every time the dinar story heats up, scammers come out immediately. So memorize this. No legitimate bank will ever ask for upfront fees, ask you to ship your currency, contact you through random social media DMs, promise priority access, or offer secret rates. If anyone pressures you with urgency or secrecy, that is not opportunity. That is fraud. And one more thing, stop telling people how much you have. Privacy is security, because in moments like this, oversharing makes you a target. So what happens next? If these reports continue and expand, we may see more branches participating, more banks quietly testing processes, more confirmed appointments, and clearer official communication over the next few days. A rollout like this doesn't usually go from zero to public overnight. It starts controlled, then expands. So the next 72 hours matter, not for panic, but for observation and preparation. And as soon as we get verified updates, we'll break it down here. So here's the bottom line. If exchanges are beginning in select areas, this could be the most important window IQD holders have seen in years. But you do not win by rushing. You win by being calm, verified, and prepared. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Do you believe this is the real start of a rollout, or do you think it's a controlled test phase? And if you want real updates without hype, make sure you subscribe to Iraqi Dinar Market and turn on notifications, because if the next major confirmation drops, you don't want to hear it last.